Have you ever wondered what really happens to your body when you ejaculate every single day after the age of 50? I mean, not just in the moment, but later, when you wake up the next morning or a few hours afterward. Maybe you feel a little more tired. Maybe your drive is not quite the same. Or maybe you feel more relaxed, more at peace. But is that daily habit helping you or hurting you as you age? Hello, I'm Dr. Sofia Carter. I am a urologist who has worked with thousands of men in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. Men just like you who are trying to make sense of their changing body. And today, I want to talk to you about something most doctors avoid. What really happens inside your body when you ejaculate every day after 50? By the end of this video, you will have a much clearer understanding of how daily ejaculation impacts your hormones, your energy, your confidence, your sleep, and yes, even your long-term health. You will walk away feeling informed, reassured, and better equipped to take care of yourself with intention, not fear. So, let us begin with what happens right after that release. The moment you climax, your body goes through a powerful cascade of changes. First, your heart rate increases. Blood pressure rises. There is a brief burst of dopamine, the feel-good hormone that makes you feel relaxed, rewarded, and satisfied. But what many men do not realize is that this short burst is immediately followed by a drop. And that drop can be sharper and more noticeable after 50. Why? Because your baseline hormone levels are already lower. So that post-release dip in dopamine, testosterone, and even energy can feel more draining than it did in your 20s or 30s. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing. It is your body doing what it was designed to do. But here is the key. When you ejaculate every single day, your system does not always have enough time to fully recover between releases. And for some men, that creates a pattern of chronic fatigue, mood swings, and lower motivation. Does that mean you should stop completely? Not at all. It simply means that after 50, you need to listen more carefully to how your body responds to how your energy shifts, because every man is different, and your ideal rhythm might be different than it was 20 years ago. Now let us talk about testosterone. Testosterone is your vitality hormone. It affects your strength, your clarity, your mood, and of course, your sexual drive. After 50, it is natural for levels to decline, but lifestyle plays a big role in how fast or how gently that happens. When you ejaculate every day, your body experiences a spike in a hormone called prolactin. Prolactin is what helps you feel satisfied. It is part of the reason you feel relaxed afterward. But when it builds up too often or stays elevated, it can suppress your testosterone, making you feel sluggish, flat, or disconnected over time. Some men who ejaculate daily report feeling more tired during the day. Others say their drive actually decreases even though they are releasing frequently. That is because overdoing it can slowly deplete your reserves, especially if your sleep is not ideal or if your nutrition and hydration are not supporting recovery. This is where intentionality matters. If you feel great afterward, energized, happy, clear-headed, that is your body saying, I am handling this well. But if you feel low, moody, or physically spent, your body might be asking for a break. And that is worth honoring, not ignoring. The effects of ejaculation are not limited to the physical sensations or the temporary release of tension. What happens in your brain is just as important and sometimes even more telling. When you reach climax, your brain initiates a carefully orchestrated release of neurochemicals. There is dopamine, which gives you that wave of pleasure and satisfaction. There is oxytocin, the hormone that promotes bonding, trust, and emotional connection. And there is serotonin, which helps regulate your mood, appetite, and sleep cycles. This trio is what makes the experience feel so good in the moment. It is a reward system that has been hardwired into you since your earliest development. But here is the part most men do not hear about. After that beautiful chemical high, those same hormone levels begin to dip and the drop can be surprisingly steep, especially after the age of 50. When your body becomes more sensitive to these changes, your baseline levels may already be lower due to natural hormonal shifts. So the drop after release can leave you feeling more emotionally exposed than you expected. For men who are also carrying unspoken stress, loneliness, unresolved grief, or just the fatigue that comes from a long life lived with responsibility. That crash can feel confusing, sudden, even a little disorienting. Have you ever felt strangely emotional afterward? Maybe a little sad or like something is missing? You are not broken. You are not alone. This is a completely natural physiological experience. But it can become heavier and more frequent if you are ejaculating daily without leaving your body time to fully recover emotionally and hormonally. And because our emotional world becomes more layered with age, with more history, more memory, and sometimes more regrets, these subtle shifts can feel like a flood of feelings you cannot quite name. So, what helps? First and foremost, self-awareness. Do not rush into your next task. Do not pick up your phone or scroll or pretend the moment did not happen. Instead, pause. Place your hand over your chest. Take a breath. Tell yourself gently, I am okay. This is normal. My body is just recalibrating. These few seconds of kindness can make all the difference. They help ground your nervous system, give your brain space to rebalance, and reduce the chance of that emotional spiral some men feel but never talk about. Over time, turning this into a gentle post-release ritual can help you experience not just release, but also repair. Now, while the emotional and hormonal side is vital, we also need to talk about something that is physically foundational and often overlooked: your pelvic floor and your prostate. These are not just background players in your sexual health. They are central to how your entire reproductive and urinary systems function. And after 50, they become more vulnerable to wear and strain than ever before. When you ejaculate, a series of muscular contractions take place in your pelvic floor, a sling-like group of muscles that supports your bladder, prostate, and rectum. These muscles help propel semen during climax. It is a powerful process, and under the right conditions, it works like clockwork. But here is the challenge. Many men over 50 have weakened pelvic muscles, often due to years of sitting, lack of specific movement, or simply not knowing how to engage them properly. If you are ejaculating every day and those muscles are already tired or tight, it can lead to lingering soreness, stiffness, and over time inflammation. I have seen men come into my office describing a dull ache in the lower abdomen or tension around the testicles, or even a nagging discomfort deep inside the pelvic region, sometimes mistaken for prostate pain. Others mention more urgent or frequent urination or a noticeable drop in the strength of their stream. These are all signs that the pelvic floor and surrounding tissues may be under stress. Not because ejaculation is dangerous, but because recovery is being skipped. That is why I always recommend something simple but powerful. A few minutes of movement after release. You do not have to do a full workout. Just stand. Breathe deeply into your belly and allow your hips to gently shift side to side. A slow stretch, a short walk around the house, or even a few forward bends can help your muscles unwind. Think of it like a cool down after lifting weights. Not because the act was harmful, but because it was effortful. And effort, especially when repeated daily, deserves recovery. Otherwise, you risk turning something healthy into something that slowly chips away at your comfort. Taking just 5 minutes to reconnect with your body after ejaculation through movement, breath, and awareness can protect your pelvic floor, reduce tension in the prostate area, and help you feel restored instead of depleted. It is a small act, but over weeks and months, it makes a noticeable difference. And it reinforces a truth that every man over 50 deserves to hear. Your health is not about doing more. It is about doing it more mindfully, about caring for the systems that quietly support your vitality every day. Let us shift to something that is deeply personal and often unspoken. How daily ejaculation affects your sense of connection both with yourself and with your partner if you have one. When masturbation becomes a daily habit, it can either be an act of self-care or a form of escape. The difference is how you feel afterward. If you feel more connected, relaxed, and grounded, that is a good sign. But if you feel more isolated, numb, or even disconnected from your partner, that is something to pay attention to. Over time, some men find that daily solo release becomes a substitute for emotional closeness. They stop reaching out, they stop touching, and they lose that vital element of shared intimacy. Again, this is not about shame. It is about choice, about being intentional with how you express desire and care. If you are in a relationship, consider mixing it up. Share those moments. Talk openly. Create space for deeper connection. If you are single, use that time to connect with your body in a kind, conscious way, not just for release, but for restoration. So where does this leave us? Should you stop altogether? Should you keep going every day? The truth is, there is no one-size-fits-all answer. But here is what I tell every man who walks into my office. Your body is speaking to you. Listen to it. If you feel strong, vibrant, energized, you are likely in a good rhythm. But if you are feeling drained, distracted, disconnected, or numb, it might be time to slow down. Not to punish yourself, but to heal, to restore, to find a better balance. This is not about rules. It is about respect. Respect for your energy, your hormones, your nervous system, and your emotional well-being. You deserve to feel connected to your body, not confused by it. And when you approach your sexual health with curiosity, patience, and self-care, everything begins to shift. Your clarity improves, your mood steadies, your stamina returns, and you start to feel more like yourself again. So tonight or tomorrow, whenever that moment comes, just pause, check in, ask yourself, how do I feel? Is this serving me? That small moment of reflection is not weakness. It is wisdom, and it is the kind of wisdom that leads to long-term strength. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe because here on this channel, we talk about men's health after 50 with honesty, compassion, and real tools for thriving. I am Dr. Sofia Carter. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And remember, your best years are not behind you. They are just beginning. Take care of yourself.